don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but I used to be quite good at essay writing in school. And I remember some friends would want to read my essays at the end of the class. So my first couple of books like Explosion of Love and this one, The End of Separation, are in essay format. Each chapter can be read independently. It does not have to be read sequentially. So The End of Separation too is in this style. I have used stories to convey the teaching of Advaita in a relatable manner. I can read out some chapter titles so you get a glimpse of what's inside. The first is Journeys at the Office Desk, and this is about what I learned about relationships at the office, which my guide, my spiritual guide Ramesh Balsekar, said was the ideal ground for testing the teaching, because one has relationships of all kinds with clients, suppliers, colleagues, and so on and so forth. So that is my learnings at the office. Similarly, there are essays like Aspects of the Mind and the Arrows of Destiny, where I have used the story of William Tell to narrate core concepts of Advaita. And then we have The Heresy of True Love. This is based on the story of the Egyptian Pharaoh Akhnaten and how his grand vision and grand love eventually collapsed. It really appealed to me because he was the most unlikely pharaoh, yet destiny took over and made him pharaoh. Not loved by his father, a weakly built child, but always talking about his love for the one and only, and how he would be a living example of this love, getting down from his chariot, meeting the common folk, and so on and so forth. But how this too became one-dimensional and eventually led to his fall. So this story has been viewed through the lens of Advaita, of non-duality, and one can find the core concepts of Advaita embedded in this story. And lastly is a humble attempt at a poem called The World's Best Astrologer. It was written in a lighter vein. It is not very deep, but it is conveying this important message. So those who would like to, who like in fact the essay format, something which is both light and heavy at the same time, I think they will enjoy reading this book. The End of Separation, of course, is the end of, as my teacher would say, me versus the other. And it is a healing back into me and the other. It is referring to that separation, which on an individual level is what I have explained, and on a deeper level is the end of separation from the source. How can that happen in daily living? It is by our attitude to life, by going with the flow of life. And this flow of life means a healing of our relationships. Our relationships are of three kinds. Our relationship with others, with what happens in our life, and with ourselves. And when we start living life through this dimension, It is the end of separation.